Welcome back, Wagoneers, to another exciting episode of the Wasted Wagons podcast. On this special episode of Uncovered, we have with us Kenner Councilman Joey LaHatte.
What's going on?
And we are honored to have you here. So I hope you're as excited to be here as we are excited to have you.
I'm honored that you asked me to be on, man. I've known you a very long time, and definitely want to help all these Rummel guys, coming from a Jesuit Blue Jay.
Look, well, I'm repping over here.
Well, yeah, we have a Jesuit guy right here. So
yeah, we're good.
I'm not by myself.
Yeah. You brought it up already that you attended Jesuit High School. Can you give us a little bit of background on you? So you went to grade school, high school, and then how you progressed on to college and from there?
Yeah, I grew up in Metairie. I went to St. Anne Transcontinental, one of the biggest archdiocesan schools in the area. Jesuit, I graduated in 99, was a drum major of the band, had some great years there. Went to LSU, 99-03, studied IT studies, and then I wanted to go to law school, then went to Loyola Law School in New Orleans after that. Kind of followed my dad's footsteps. He was an attorney for many years, and I graduated law school in 2007. At LSU, I was in the Tiger Band for 5 years. My first year that the football team was 3-8. The last year, Jerry DiNardo. My last game was a national title game in the Superdome against Oklahoma. So I saw every 5 years of as much difference as you can on a football team on a college level you can see.
Awesome. And hopefully in typical Jesuit tradition, your son, you say he applied to Jesuit?
So letter day's tomorrow. Yeah, so we're going to find out tomorrow if my son's going to be a Blue Jay and be the class of, I don't know, I flunked math. That's why I went to law school. 2030, 31, whatever. I'm sure the moms know that.
I think it's 2030, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll find out tomorrow. So he'll be a Blue Jay and be there next year and start in 8th grade.
Well, I wish him luck. I hope that's the only place he goes. Were there any other schools that he was considering, or you would?
What other boys' schools are there in the area? It's just,
the perfect answer.
In New Orleans, none. But Metairie, it's a different story.
Yeah.
So have you been opposed to him choosing another Catholic league school, say a Rummel or a Brother Martin or a Holy Cross?
I have a nephew at Rummel, Jonathan LaHatte, my brother's son, decided to go to Rummel over Jesuit, even though my brother was a legacy Jesuit. So, look, Rummel's a great school, Brother Martin's a great school. They've been healthy, enrollment's great for a very long time. I would not have been opposed to that, but my son followed me. A wise choice.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, my son's going to miss, hanging out with Daniel on a regular basis. So.
Carson did go to Blue and White night that night, so I'm glad he did consider.
Jesuit almost won him over, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, from what I remember, Travis told me that Carson was quite impressed with Jesuit.
He was.
Nice.
So after graduating from Jesuit, you enrolled at LSU. You were a member of the Tiger Band. Mm-hmm. And do you have any good and appropriate stories for us on air, or really fun stories to tell us about your time in the Tiger Band?
Well, I got in a fight with the Auburn kicker in 2001.
Okay.
During a halftime show.
Could you elaborate on that for us?
Well, the tradition at LSU is you don't mess with the Tiger Band. It's been a long-standing tradition since Huey Long said 1935. He wanted the best band in the country, so he walked into campus one day and said, I want to have the largest band. And then he got about 300 students together. None of them played any instruments, gave him instruments and said, you're in the LSU marching band. And then when they go on away trips, it was traditional for Huey Long to give cash to the students to have a good time. And that tradition still goes till today. Like the band members get money when they go on away trips, plus they get hotel rooms, plus they get meals, plus they get to go to the game, plus they get transportation. So how that is not the most amazing thing possible you can have being a college student, I don't know what you can possibly beat on that. But
that's NIL before NIL.
Yeah, did I hear you correctly? You were getting paid?
Yeah, bands get paid, man. We get more money than the football players did back then because the football players got nothing.
I never heard this story. I was going to say, I don't know if you remember our buddy Biff, who's on the pod sometimes, Biff Hitchens. He was in he graduated with us in 2002.
Okay.
He was on the drum line at LSU for a couple of years.
Yeah, my last year was 2003, so it was funny because a band that big, 350 people, you have 60 trumpets. It's like it's all like different fiefdoms, and we all come together. But the Auburn fight, whenever LSU plays Auburn, there's always some kind of weird thing. Like an earthquake happened, a barn burned down in Auburn in 1996, the Tommy Hodson game. Auburn smacked us in '99 in Baton Rouge and Death Valley, smoked cigars on the field, and they beat Jerry DiNardo, beat us like 41-7. They came back in 2001, and that was the game that got rescheduled after 9/11. So it was later in the year. the game to go to Atlanta. So they came in, and it was a wild game. And we're doing a halftime show in the field. The band flipped around. We went to the south part of the end zone, and the kicker, the special teams units are out there kicking. So we thought they were going to get off the field, respectful of the band's throwing, doing a show. But they stayed on the field, kept kicking the ball. And this guy kept running into players, and we were marching through them, and Mark Aycock, the mellophone player, actually nudged him, told him curse words. We ended. I went up to him, called him every name under the sun. He tried to take a swing at me, and then he had three other guys. Me, 5'6". Three other guys jumped in, and then the drum major, Tony Marinello, jumped in and broke everything off, and then it got separated. Tommy Tuberville actually apologized to the band the next week. He sent a letter in, said he was sorry it shouldn't have happened. There's been a bunch of interviews since then about that game with Rohan Davey, Damon Duvall, me. The Birmingham News has called me twice on this story the last 20 years. So I'm never going to have anybody go to Auburn.
Rohan Davey, me.
Really. I could tell you, Rohan Davey, man, is the reason LSU ascended when they put him in the Peach Bowl in 2000.
Wow, it's going back, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he lit it up, and then the next year he drove Saban crazy because he'd launched the ball 400 yards a game, and Saban wanted a balanced offense. He'd be yelling at him all the time. He'd get back there like a F&A team and just launch the ball 60 yards to Josh Reed.
Yep. I do remember him having a really strong arm.
Oh, it was ridiculous. One game we had, I think Tuscaloosa that year, they broke the single game record, 286 yards to Josh Reed, and the Alabama fans started throwing whiskey on us, the Tiger Band.
Oh, wow.
We're beating them 40-10 or something. Last year's a Mike Shula.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm going back. But I saw some crazy games.
Nice.
Throwing whiskey on y'all, what kind of waste is that? I mean,
it's Alabama.
I mean,
Alabama, they were not happy we were whipping their butt, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Alcohol
It's like, can I
abuse.
take a swig first before you dump it on me?
The wagons don't waste whiskey.
We don't.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It sounds like being in the Tiger Band was quite an experience.
It was fun, man. It's the only rule in Tiger Band was if you show up to the game drunk and hungover, they're sending your butt home. Even with that one rule, some kids still cannot follow that rule. So the one rule, don't show up drunk.
So half the band shows up.
One kid was throwing up the more in the Sugar Bowl in the national title game, but they let him stay because it was the last game. So, but no, a big band like that, you could throw some big parties, having 350 people putting up $20.
Oh,
Wow.
man.
College kids, so
Huge party.
we'd have football players showing up to our parties. They got pretty big on campus, man.
I'll bet.
It was wild.
Quick question: did you have a favorite song that you liked playing, or what was your favorite songs of the time when you were in the band? Maybe something that got the crowd really kind of hyped up, or just something like that.
My tenure there, the band hadn't started playing neck yet, so I was pre-neck. Boogie Down was great. Hey Baby song they still play. It got the crowd lit up. The first down, second down cheers. The pregame salute too. But the next stuff came later.
Gotcha.
That was after my time.
What do you think about the neck?
Let the band play neck, dude. It's college kids. If you want to take your kid to the bathroom and the band starts playing that, so you don't hear the students.
But you do approve.
I've heard it so much, and one thing I do know is, if you tell a bunch of college kids you can't do that, what are they going to do?
They're going to do it.
That's exactly what
Absolutely.
happened.
Yep.
It's provocative. It gets the people going.
They ran an article in the Reveille. Don't do this. CBS Sports is going to fine our team. You can't play this anymore. And then, so now the student section just does that chant to every song.
Yeah.
Just to throw it back in the administration's face so they can't do anything.
I mean, our senior song in high school was Catch That Wall. We used to scream at pep
Yeah.
rallies and sing it. It was like, oh, geez, Catholic schoolboys over here singing Catch
College.
the Wall, whoa, tear it down, whoa, all that kind of stuff at a pep rally.
College kids. Another story, I was at the Bluegrass Miracle game. When Devery Henderson caught the ball from Marcus Randall.
Devery.
And you see it on recorded, but if you were there, it's a different look because the stadium had actually lit off a fireworks show when Marcus Randall threw that ball.
Nice.
So when our team caught it and we won, there was fireworks going off all around
And
the
the other team
stadium.
had thought they won.
So our fans rushed the field, and then we went out that night, and all the Kentucky fans said, "Yeah, we weren't mad. Our team, Kentucky football sucks. We knew you were going to win somehow." So we'll see you in the basketball court.
Even if it was a last-minute bomb. You know?
Well, while we're still on the topic of college, you are the owner of the LaHatte Law Firm.
Yes.
What made you initially go into law?
Well, my dad was an attorney for 20 years, kind of an influence. He was a lawyer on Canal Street for a very long time. I got into it, and then I started doing defense work at Blue Williams Law Firm in Metairie for a long time, and then I got into plaintiff work, and I do mainly a lot of construction litigation. Now I do represent people for homes. If your hurricane hits your house and State Farm says, no, we're not going to replace your roof, that's what I do.
All right.
Or if you have a fire case and they
Yeah.
won't pay for your fire, you know, I don't know if you had that problem back
No,
then.
we didn't. No, well, luckily we had insurance.
That's
and
before
didn't-
I knew you, really,
Yeah, and
but,
didn't run into too many problems. So
that happens.
Yeah, I bet.
It's so I do that. I do some commercial building claims and just help people get their property and buildings and businesses back up and running.
So the one thing we did have an issue doing back then when we lost our house was finding new homeowners insurance, because it was almost like the previous company had dropped us and didn't want to take us on. So we eventually got on with somebody, but I remember that was the most complicated part of the whole process.
Yeah, it's when the insurance pays out, they don't want you anymore. You know.
Yeah.
And
It happened once. I mean, hey.
And then the reason the homeowners rates are so high right now is we had 4 giant hurricanes within 2 years. Laura, Ida, Delta, Zeta.
Right.
And the payouts were astronomically high compared to industry. We had 12 insurance companies go bankrupt. And that's just the matrix of why everything's high. It's not the attorneys. It's not, where we live. It's just the payouts were so bad.
I was going to say, y'all's
Mother
was that even before Zeta was like late 2020?
Yeah.
Was that the first big one? That was,
Yeah, it led us a lot of roof claims. That was October 2020.
It was the Halloween hurricane.
And then,
remember that? Yeah.
And then Lake Charles got absolutely blasted by Laura, Delta. Yeah. And then we had Ida, Ida had more wind damage than Hurricane Katrina produced.
Right.
And people don't know that because Katrina had so much flooding.
Katrina was a flooding event, yeah.
So Ida was more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Joey, speaking of flooding, what improvements does the city of Kenner have planned or are thinking about to mitigate rising standing water?
Yeah, there's going to be some installation of a new drainage pump in West Kenner by Seton. It's going to be financed by Rita Bohannon's office in District 4 in Jefferson. West Kenner flooded that event last year. Mm-hmm. One of the culprits was that because there was 4 pumps at the airport. 3 of them didn't turn on. They were supposed to be automatic, and the people that manage that are Orleans Parish. So since then, and we couldn't manually turn them on because there's no manual option of how crazy that is. But since then, there's done a very extensive meeting to where Orleans is allowing the Jefferson Parish maintenance people, Mark Drews and those type of public works workers to monitor those pumps. Because if those 4 pumps had been on, I don't think West Kenner, University City, that area would have had as much flooding as it did. Mm-hmm. We had a pump, 2 pumps go down by Duncan for mechanical reasons. But that's a huge flow rate station, so it didn't impact that area that much. Mm-hmm. But it was historical rainfall.
See, I live in Woodlake, and that was a big thing over by us. We learned about the Orleans pumps in Jefferson, and we were what's going on with that? So it made the news, and I know it was a big deal to us in the Woodlake area and that part of Kenner.
Yeah.
So
I know some of the Orleans residents. I don't want to say loving it, but we're laughing because it's wait, finally not us for a change. Jefferson Parish gets a taste of this.
Yeah, it's just West Kenner, that area, man. It's just been. Me and Keith Conley, the police chief, went out there after that event, and there were people just crying, destitute. They didn't know what to do. They had gone through Katrina before. They said they can't do this again. It was very sad to see that out there for those people. So
it was a first. I was actually at my parents' house. They live in Highway Park neighborhood.
Yeah,
close to power. And I mean, I grew up in that house. May 8th flood. Didn't even flood on that street. Didn't even flood in the street for Katrina. Mm-hmm. But then come out after Francine, and we're calf deep almost in spots of water coming all the way up the driveway. I've never seen that in my 40 years of life that my parents have been there. So
me neither. Driftwood, my house, the water was up to my doorstep. I'd never seen that. It was just historical type flooding that I've never seen. And I can't believe that more houses didn't flood in Kenner. There was 400 houses in West Kenner, but I couldn't believe that more my neighborhood or even Chateau or that area hadn't flooded. But
It seemed like it ended just at the right time. It's like, thank you. It came all the way up to my front door. I'm in Metairie, but
Yeah, they do test the pumps. When a storm's coming, I always get texts, "Are the pumps on?" I guarantee you the pumps are on. Aaron Broussard does not run Kenner and Jefferson Parish anymore. Okay, he does not. He's not going to send the pump operators to St. Tammany. They're here. The pumps always are tested before the system. They're on, and there's someone there mechanically sound who is going to repair it. That happened at Duncan this past storm, so they're going to get it back up and running if something happens. The Orleans Parish problem is now rectified because we'll have someone there to turn them on manually if they goof up and cause that problem again by the airport. So,
well, let me ask you this: being an insurance attorney, does that help any with the city of Kenner and like hurricane preparedness and damage assessments and anything? Do you bring something to city government?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to help them settle the Hurricane Ida case we had with City Hall. Like, we tore down City Hall because Ida destroyed it. It's a $40 to $50 million insurance claim, and we've been trying to get it resolved for the last 4 years. Still not resolved.
I saw it was knocked down. How recently?
Yeah, it was full of mold. So the city council operates out of the old Nature Building, Heritage Hall, down in Rivertown.
Yeah.
So we've been in there temporarily, which is fine, until we get money to rebuild City Hall. So the mayor has a building on Reverend Wilson Parkway by the river, but the council really doesn't have a council anymore. We just have a temporary place. So I try to bring as much information as I can. We renew our rates every year, and of course in claims to help the city. So yes.
Cool.
Before we get too far into the weeds on some other questions like that, can you tell the audience and us what your district actually covers, like area wise, or just a part of the town?
Yeah, so I'm District 3, and think of East Kenner by the Metairie line, by Power Boulevard, go north. So I'm Driftwood, a little east of that, a few houses. Go north, that's Palm Vista, Aqua Vista area, a lot of the Vista area by the levee. It goes east. Then we go west to Beachview Heights. It's across by Williams, Green Lawn, and then Treasure Chest Casino and Pontchartrain Center and the boat launcher mine. So kind of like a rectangle up.
Okay.
And then my line stops at Chateau. The Duncan Canal line is where my area stops. So I'm responsible for that area.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to shift away from this for a second. I know we talked a little bit about you being a lawyer, you being in the LSU band. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Were you also a member of the 610 Stompers at one time?
I was. I was a Stomper for 10 years from
wow.
01 until COVID hit, and I retired after COVID. A bunch of great guys. I raised a lot of money for charity. They're still stomping. I just got into politics, and my kids are all teenagers, so I don't have time anymore because they practice. They practice a lot to get ready for those parades.
So I've actually heard the tryout's are fairly difficult. Can you tell us a little bit about your tryout and the process there?
My tryout was at 12 Bar in 2011, and they put you up by yourself in front of 100 people, and they teach you a dance that day, and you got to do it that day in front of everybody. And then if you call back, they teach you another dance, the rest of the dance the next week. And they ask you questions and they don't want good dancers. They want regular guys. Like my year, I think they took me. I was the only attorney. They took a guy that lived with his mom. They took an engineer. They took a teacher, sports guy. It was just, they did like a whole mix of different dudes in that group. And that makes it special,
I'll bet.
With that said, do you fancy yourself a good dancer?
No, I just try. I just try really hard, and that's what that group's about. And I may go back at some point, but Brett Patron and that whole family, they're great. They raise a lot of money for all the events they do. They do a St. Michael's Day every year before Mardi Gras hits, and go see the kids at St. Michael's Special School. And they do a great job. A bunch of great dudes, and I still talk to most of them. It's just my time is limited these days, so it's hard to do so many different things, but.
Now, when you went through your tryout and you had to do this dance in front of a whole bar of people, did you experience any stage fright there? Or?
There's a video somewhere. I know you're trying to ask me that. It's somewhere deep in the archives. I just did it.
Please find this for us so we can air it with this interview.
Yeah, it's the dance was to "Whip It" by Devo.
Okay.
And it was a dance that was like a real robotic type dance. It's like that song is like It's like a real robotic type dance with the guys with the hats,
Yes.
the orange hats.
Yes.
And of course, you were whipping it.
There was a whip it part. You have to whip it like this, and you whip it and you pulled it up, and then you shook your butt and turned around. It was
no single ladies. Hey, Patrick.
No comment.
no, it was fun. They still do it. They had tryouts this year, I think. They do it now at what's the bar? Yeah, why can't I think of this? At the Parish Line on the River Road.
Oh yeah, Southport.
Southport.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah, they do it there now. And I wanted to go this year, but I didn't have time to get out there. But they still have tryouts. And, yeah, if you're a manly man wanting to dance really hard and have fun and raise money, go try them out.
Okay.
I like they do a ball, right? It's like a themed ball, like 80s.
I used to be responsible for getting the food every year for that, getting the food donated from local restaurants. They still do it. Yeah,
right,
they did it this year.
I see pictures from it every year. Like, I don't know how people get invites to it. It's almost like the
It sells out.
Endymion extravaganza,
It's cheap. It sells out. They try to make it economical for everybody, and they go, and it's open bar. And we used to do late night pizza where I'd have Rotolo's come in and deliver pizzas, like 200 pizzas at midnight.
Wow.
And we'd bring them in and throw them off the stage. While people were dancing, they would just gobble down pizza. A bunch of drunk people dancing just love pizza. So we figured that out. It's very, very easy.
That's us marching down Metairie Road for St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
We pre-order Mark Twain's. And so when we get to that point in the route, somebody said, he runs up and we'll come out with boxes of pizza. We're all gobbling down pepperoni pizza while we're
This
marching.
will be my third year walking, so I'm going to think of that this year. I'm going to do the same thing. That's a good idea.
What's the group you march with?
I walk with the head group. It's usually the king or the queen, like Ricky Template. Not the queen, but Ricky Template was last year.
Okay, yeah.
Judge Brindisi was the year before, but it's Keith Conley's group, and we walk towards the front, like the mayor of Canada.
Like
there,
the ones
Keith,
riding in the Cadillacs and everything?
Yeah, we're near that. So they
All
put
right.
all the dignitaries. I don't know if that's the funnest place to be, but I'd rather be in y'all's pirate ship, to be honest.
Right,
with you.
right.
But we're up there, and that's a great day. I love that parade, man. It's a beauty.
Speaking of parades, as a councilman, have you ever ridden in a City of Kenner parade as like a guest of the parade captain or something like that?
What's that?
You were saying.
So I basically help run the Driftwood Parade in my neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
We have a parade that's been going on 55 years.
That's where I got that koozie.
Right here. And it's a grammar school centered parade, so all the grammar schools in the area put their dance teams and bands in it. Because it's 2 miles. It's short enough for the grammar school kids.
Yeah.
We have like 60 groups in that parade. I put a float in there, or the local politicians do. And they have the crew of ISIS, which parades Saturday night on the same day of Endymion. So that's actually this coming Saturday. It's a bunch of Kenner girls and women and some dignitaries riding that parade. Kristen McKinney, Kenner Councilwoman, Arita Bohannon, Jefferson Parish Councilwoman, some other people down the list. They all ride. I rode Mad Hatters this past Saturday, Metairie, with my son Daniel.
Yeah.
It was fun.
I bet.
It was a blast.
And I'm going to ride the Irish Italian with you. So.
And then you're on my Irish Italian float this year.
Okay.
Speaking of Mad Hatters, there really is a good parade. It's come along since they started. It seems like every year it's gotten better and better.
Yeah, I think it's taken the crown as kind of the best
Yeah.
Metairie parade now.
I think so.
I've said that for a couple of years now, and I was actually in it this year. Even though I'm not really a member, as I was invited, but I'm going to actually contact the crew because I want to join, because I thought it was the best Metairie parade.
Oh, yeah, by far.
No, the Irish Italian's a different beast.
Sure.
Like, I love the Irish Italian because you throw vegetables. I have a giant float in that parade, so it's a different beast than Mardi Gras. It's two different things. But the Mad Hatters is great. I thought they did the route was crowded all the way down.
Yeah.
Everywhere. We ran out of stuff by Severn. I'm not going to confirm or deny the fact that I was throwing jello shots to some people I knew. That's all I had left. Some adults, came up with a float, and I knew that was fine. But it was a fantastic parade.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one of the ones it's kind of supplanted Caesar, I think, as one of the main Metairie parades. Yeah, we all used to ride in Centurions, and it was a good time.
Yeah, Centurion still parades on Lundy Gras. My daughter's dancing in that with the Chappelle High Steppers.
I was surprised to hear it's Crew of Kings or something that's behind Centurions this year. The Centurions is not the main one. There's like a new one that was on the news or something. I forget what they were saying about it. But.
No, Jefferson Parish Mardi Gras is healthy, man. Excalibur went Friday. It was really cold that night, so it kept some of the crowds out. But look, we don't have a parade every night like it used to be, but I think it's healthy and coming back. I really do.
Yeah.
Was the city kind of prepared for that switch with that Family Raw Sunday, the rain event that happened?
To the Pontchartrain Center?
To the were you all prepared, or
I mean,
was that always like a second type place, or that was just spur of the moment?
I don't think it was a backup plan. I think there was a call made probably Friday night because we was looking at the forecast for that Sunday, and it was open. So we're definitely going to allow that. I mean, that's just for people to come to. It's a free show for people to come in and see.
That was a last minute thing. Like
Amanda,
that wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't even think, you're going from Metairie to Kenner.
It saved the day, you know.
It did. Yeah, Amanda Shaw played. I'm good friends with her and her guy Galen Hare, who I do a lot of attorney work with. But they put on a great show, and it worked very well.
All right, so I'm going back to your professional career here. So after many years in law, what made you decide to run for the council in Kenner?
So some people in politics will tell you, most people will say, well, I never wanted to do this shit. And that was me. I mean, 5-6 years ago, I remember telling my good friend Dominic Impastato, like, how do you do this? Like, I would never want people calling me all day about city issues and like, oh, I need to help the city get used to it. I'm like, well, I'm never going to do that. Then I helped the Driftwood Civic Association with neighborhood rolling again, got the parade going, started talking about city stuff. When you do this, when you start being active in your community, then people start noticing, and you need more people like that. And then Christy McKinney approached me as a councilwoman in Kenner, said, you ought to consider running for council in District 3. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like the Kenner Council? She goes, yeah. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. Well, those ideas kind of develop over time. And I think Kenner needs a lot of help. We need infrastructure improvements. We need to do things to help get our kids to come back and live there. We need more businesses. We have a lot of money in Kenner. Gabriel's full of business owners and people that own $1 million businesses. They drive through Kenner every day. There's no reason why we can't have more restaurants and more fun things to do. Mm-hmm. Williams Boulevard, we're actually doing a program right now to redo the signs, all the businesses, and the business will be given a grant by Jefferson Parish up to $20,000 to redo their sign to a pedestal type sign.
Okay.
So all those broken down rusty pole signs, those are coming down on Williams to make it pretty.
Okay.
Nice.
You mean like the multi-business signs or whatever? Yeah.
Trying to get rid of those and do single-purpose signs that are nice, and they have that stucco type stuff. It's like a pedestal, and it looks good. You see them at the beach, and we're going to be doing that. But yeah, I ran to help Kenner. I think I've done we've given the police pay raises. We have 40 new police officers in Kenner since I got aboard. I've redone a ton of infrastructure projects. We're doing curbs all over my district right now. We've striped streets. We got the casino open. I redid the boat launch. We're doing the amphitheater through Jefferson Parish, which will be a 7,500 seat amphitheater. Hopefully, piling's going on the ground later this year, outside of the levee system, right by the boat launch. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that project.
No.
But it's and we're trying to get people like Live Nation, those type of organizations, to come in and run it and to put shows out there.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yes, it sounds like a good deal.
So it's coming.
I heard, I don't know if there was a rumor or whatnot, a police station out there as well.
So yeah, we have an old lighthouse out there, and it's been sitting there vacant for years, and no one's ever. I'm like, what are we using this for? And we've had some issues out there with people throwing garbage. We've had some people out there showing up and doing donuts in the parking lot. You don't want that because that.
Sorry about that.
Gets families leaving. They don't want to see that stuff. So I said, why don't we? It was my idea about 2 years ago. So let's give this. I called the police chief. I said, do you want a police station in North Kenner? He goes, well, yeah. So we have a building. It's a lighthouse right there by the boat launch. It's yours, and I'll give you whatever money you want to redo it. Just put some officers in there.
Nice.
And then
you have a police station built out of a lighthouse.
Yes,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Unique.
Yeah, and I said it at a council meeting, And then it was an idea where everybody's like, that's a great idea. That never happens in government. Everybody's like, okay, let's just do that. It's like, yes. Like everybody, the mayor, the council. I mean, look, it was just, so they're actually in there now. We put a sign in front of it about a month ago. They put some of the traffic division in there, and it's.
Oh, so they're there. Wow.
Yeah, they're there.
That's awesome.
So it's mainly a big deterrent to keep the riffraff out of there. We have guys that fish out of that fishing pier. I put those green fishing lights out there that I got from Grand Isle Pier to attract the plankton, which attracts the big fish.
Okay.
Some kind of science behind it, so we paid for that. And having the police out there promotes better activity, promotes families being there. We don't want the donuts. We don't want the.
Are they up on the lighthouse with the binoculars? You know,
Nope,
checking out Coconut Beach.
Sniper rifles.
Dude, we do undercover work. If there's hot issues, the police do undercover operations all the time. We had some guy, people messing with the fishermen on the pier, stealing their fishing poles, so we put an undercover officer out there in plain clothes. Wow. Just put his fishing line and wait for somebody to take it to arrest the guy.
Nice.
So, look, Kenner's very active in police, and they are very, I mean, you see Keith Connolly on the news all the time. And they solve things quick.
I saw a couple of years back they started dredging and revitalizing the boat launch. What's the plan with the casino? Getting the old casino out of there.
So the old casino is being removed by Board Gaming. They're out of Vegas. They're going to be pulling that out, pulling the barge out. But there will be a place for someone to develop a restaurant there. There's a sewer lift station. There's electric hookups. There's gas hookups. There's water hookups. So I'm trying to get a developer to build something, and everybody says they're interested, especially with the amphitheater going up. So we're going to get someone soon. It's hard to get the first developer in a place like that because they always say, I want to be the third guy. Like the restaurants want to be next to each other because it gets more people. But it's coming. You know, that whole area is being redone. It's been needing it for a very long time.
And I know in the past, I think they also talked about redoing the jetty. They had allocated some money to redo.
So the Rock Jetty turned into a $14 million project that was a lot more funds than the Go Mesa funds provided. Dominic Pistato's office before he left to get that project moving. It was about $6 million we had. So we didn't have enough for the Rock Jetty. That's still on the books to do.
Okay, good.
And there's always a way to get grants to do that. So we're trying to get some money from the state and the feds to build the Rock Jetty, which will stop the coffee grinds from filling up the boat launch again. But it's a matter of money.
Yeah.
You know. So
at least it's in the books.
It is on the project books. I can tell you that right now.
Now, we are craft beer enthusiasts, in case you haven't really noticed. But we noticed there are no craft breweries out in Kenner. Legally, can there be craft breweries?
Yeah, look, I'll do whatever I can to get you a brewery in Kenner, man. If you want to build one, let's go. Where do you want to build it?
I mean, there's a big boat getting out the way. I'm just saying.
Does it have to?
We'll turn the boat into a.
Does it have to be in a warehouse district, or can it be out in the Kenner Lakefront?
Look, it can be at the Kenner Lakefront. We can do whatever we want out there. Like we've zoned a lot of stuff. We can do leases out there now. You know, our representatives in the state, Debbie Villio, a lot of them fixed that. So we're able to put commercial type stuff out there. Beyond recreation. So yes, Kenner, the very receptive government right now. Everybody gets along. We've been there for 3 years, and if there's a developer, look at Rivertown. We have like 3 new restaurants down there. Mm-hmm. Like it's just unbelievable. Ground Patty.
I mean, I like the River Shack down there.
River Shack, they're great. Ground Patty packs them in. Jenny LaBella's place at the Crossing does weddings all the time. Mm-hmm. Troy Genduce's does a phenomenal crowd. He's great food. Does breakfast too. People don't know that. But that whole area, there's people there all the time. It's just revitalized over the last few years. And look, if you call Kenner and say, hey, I want to do this, we're going to find a way to make it happen. There's not going to be any roadblocks. We will figure out a way to put a brewery anywhere. That's what I mean. I'll figure out a way to do it, no matter what.
Brewery sounds amazing. We actually talked about doing that at one point. I think we need
short of funds.
Yeah, I think we need a big tourist attraction in Kenner. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to drive in a lot of people. Me and my wife were thinking about Great Wolf Lodge or a Bass Pro Shop or anything like that at the Esplanade Mall. What do you think about that, Joe?
Hey, look, the Esplanade. Since I've gotten in Kenner government, anybody that I run into in the street, They found him, Kenner Councilman. What's going on with the Esplanade Mall? It's the number one question. So, well, it's not my district. It's George Brannigan's district. But so Esplanade Mall is not unique as to being vacant. There are hundreds of vacant malls around the country. But what about Lakeside? Okay, Lakeside's in the middle of Jefferson Parish. Orleans is the east. St. Charles is the west. St. Tammany's the north. People from Avondale, the West Bank, everybody goes to Lakeside because it's right in the middle and it's an economic central. So Lakeside is an anomaly, being in a metro environment like that where it's healthy. People they make money there. Late 90s, early 2000s. I mean, Esplanade started going downhill like every other mall. Like Mall Louisiana is not the same anymore. A lot of empty storefronts there. So it's hard to. Esplanade is never going to be like it used to be. There's been ideas over the years to convert it to like a Perkins Row in Baton Rouge, but the Esplanade Mall is privately owned by a company out of Indiana, and it's changed hands a couple of times over the years. The previous owner didn't do anything. I'm not going to say that some of these owners use these malls as a tax write-off on their tax returns every year, but it's obvious as to what they can do. But there's ideas. The Target's still there. Macy's have been long gone. It's like if Great Wolf Lodge wants to tear down or to build inside Esplanade Mall, they're more than welcome to do that. Kenner will open the door, the red carpet. Here you go. Do whatever you want.
It resembles Faubourg Brewery, just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, right there. Plenty of parking.
Yeah, and so some people think, the city of Kenner should do something with that. Well, we want to do something with that, but it's privately owned, and you can't force a private owner to do anything. We can't. We can offer them tax incentives. We can do this, but if they're not going to put money into it, there's no way to force a private person. It's America. You can't force a private person. You need to do this. Ain't China, dude. You can't walk in there and say you need to do this. That's what happens in China.
Yeah. What about the pavilion? Because that happened first, down the road where the movie theater was.
United Artists Pavilion.
Yeah, and that whole strip, is that privately owned too?
That's privately owned, yeah. There's a couple of things in there. There's an event center in there.
At home, there's random things that pop up in there.
Yeah, every now and then, but my wife and I, one of our first dates was in United Artists in the 1999.
That was Travis's favorite
That
theater.
was the best one. I used to love
that place. Yeah, I like that theater.
I still have a ticket stub from 1999. Guess what movie I saw at that theater?
The Newton Boys.
The Matrix.
Ooh, wait, I saw it there too.
There you go.
I might have been there with you.
We were in the same theater. We just didn't know.
I did see the Matrix there. I remember.
Wait, we're all part of the Matrix now that we're bringing this up. Yeah.
They used to serve Surge, the drink Surge there.
Yeah.
I used it every time I go. I like that drink for some reason.
Care Bear gummy bears, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So do you still remember the first movie you saw with your wife there at the theater?
One of them was The Matrix. It might have been the same time you were there.
I might have been in the same theater.
I'm trying to see what else
Hopefully
I saw
not.
there.
It sounds like a sequel to The Matrix.
I don't. Maybe that Robin Williams movie Toys I saw there too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That was a weird movie. Remember that?
Not one of his best.
No, it was strange.
Sorry, I didn't want to put you on the spot with the wife in case she listens later on.
No,
You
she
didn't remember
laughed.
that?
She knew too. She would laugh. I
It's a
said
click
that.
moment. What was our first song? Oh, crap. Let me rewind.
She'd be like, Joey, how did you know? It's XYZ.
Yeah.
But getting back to you, and as far as you're running for council, and I want to go back to election night. Like, what was running through your head? Were you pretty confident that you were going to win? And what happened if you didn't? Would you have been okay with
Well, I
that?
told my kids the worst that can happen is I lose. I'm not going to be unhappy. I just be unhappy I spent a lot of money.
True.
That would suck. But I worked my butt off. I walked every street in my district, almost multiple times to tell people I was there to try to help them. And I just think people wanted someone different. The guy I ran against had been a previous councilman. I don't want to talk bad about him, but we've since become friends, actually. But it's election night, if you're running for office, is pretty scary, dude, because you're in a room looking at results coming in, and people are calling in from the different polling stations, and they're coming in one by one, and you're looking at the numbers, and then you get the early voting numbers in. The early voting numbers typically match the voting day. So when I got the early voting numbers in, I'd won 67%. So my consultant had said, probably won if you got 67%. It had to be really crazy. So I kind of knew then when I saw it, and then it kept coming in, and it tracked it 67%. at
Yep.
the end of it. So it's like 11 votes to, I think, 7 something.
Okay, yeah, so you're like almost double.
Yeah, but it was only like a 27% turnout.
Okay.
So people don't vote, especially young people. They don't show up to vote. It's unbelievable.
They probably didn't vote for the millage to get the Jefferson Parish teachers a raise. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, people see millage. They look, but Kenner, we voted for the fireman fund millage, which passed almost 60-70%.
No.
So a lot of that has to do with education. You know, it takes a lot of time to prepare for something like that. I'm not on the school board, so I can't tell you why that didn't pass. But those kind of things take a long time to prepare for.
Yep.
You know, but wish you the best in the next one. Sorry.
Yeah, hopefully it passes.
Better
Close
luck
though,
next
right?
year.
Wasn't
Yeah.
it only off by like a couple thousand or something?
Yeah, it was like 300, I think.
It was like
Yeah.
hundreds. Okay, yeah.
It's pretty tight.
Don't y'all gotta wait like 10 years to like re-put it on
No.
the
I mean, I think they
No.
can put it on next
No.
year.
Yeah, they're trying to get it running
just-
pretty quickly.
This millage was supposed to be put on for 10 years, so it was going to be like guaranteed for 10 years before they renewed it. But no, they can put it on again, about a year later or
Pretty
so.
much every election day they could do it again if they wanted to.
Yeah.
So I'll go next. So you get elected, and what would you say your first 30 days was like once you get in office and you kind of get somebody? I assume you have like a team that you work with on a council that works under you. What was the first few days or a month like for you when you got elected and you're now in this position?
So I had my assistant Stephanie King, who does a great job already. I talked to her. I said, "Look, if I'm elected, I'm hiring you." She lives in Driftwood. She was on the Driftwood Civic Board with me. Does a fabulous job. First 30 days, there's no council school, so you have no idea what you're doing. Like zero idea. So you have to really dive. But I had been preparing. I'd been going to Kenner Council meetings for 6 months before things I knew I was going to run. So many people told me to do that to understand how the process works, because we do the budget for Kenner every year. The council votes on ordinances, passes laws, approves things, approves, settling of lawsuits, and so I got the gist of it before. But getting in the meat of it, it takes a long time to learn the city. You have so many different departments. You have streets, you have recreation, you have the finance department, which is the most important, of course. You have administration, which is the mayor's office. You have code enforcement. You have sewer. We have a big sewer station, West Kenner, that people don't even know is there. We have our own sewer system. So we have our own sewer system, but Jefferson Parish does the water. So if there's a water problem, the residents always get this confused. The water got turned off. Or, I don't like my water bill, it's too high, which is going on right now. That's Jefferson Parish, it's not us. But people call Kenner, my water bill's too high, there's a leak. Call Jefferson. We'll help them.
Mine too, click.
I'll help them call Jefferson. But if the sewer problem, we have a sewer treatment plant in West Kenner that's big. It's right by the levee. But yeah, there's multitude of departments that we fund, and we have to meet every year around April to do the budget to allocate money. Police department, huge part of the operations in Kenner. We fund them very well. The fire department, we just passed their millage last year, so the fire department is almost finally fully funded itself as its own unit, and because we were giving them $6 million every year out of the general fund to operate, which is not what you want to do in a municipality. You want police and you want a fire unit to be its own funding, so they can do their own money, implement raises, and do things like that.
Where do you see Kenner Parks and Recs going?
So they got a good guy right now, Charles Alon, who's been around, and he also does the Crescent City Sports Facebook page, and he reports on the Catholic League. Really good guy. We've done a lot. Kenner Rec almost died like 15, 20 years ago, and he used to be a powerhouse. And then all of a sudden, overnight, a lot of the kids in Kenner were going to Girard Playgrounds. I was the closest one. That's why Girard blew up, and it's still one of the biggest. And since then, you have a proliferation of travel leagues. A lot of these teams are profit driven. They want the kids all year, 12 months. They want you to join the team.
Trust me, I know.
And they make a lot of money. And look, my daughter was softball 2 years travel. And so it's never going to be like it used to be. It's just, you'd be naive to think that. But we have brought back some baseball and some softball. We have a flag league that plays out of Musbertolino. Galatas, we Kinder Discovery use the Galatas a lot, the Kinder Discovery high school team. We also have a public program at Galatas in the gym on Wednesday and Friday nights that we do a pickleball league.
That's
where
cool.
the residents show up from 5 to 10 o'clock, and it's packed every Wednesday and every Friday. And we're actually trying to find funds right now through Arita's office to redo the playground off of Alabama Street in Beachview Heights, which is a rundown playground over there to put a pickleball center thing, blow it all up.
Awesome.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
Put more lights, because everybody wants to play pickleball these days. So, but yeah, recreation, it's not as it used to be. I don't think it ever will be, but there's a lot of attention on it. The Butch Dewey Park, where East Bank plays out of, the Chappelle softball team plays out of one of those diamonds. And it's a public-private partnership where Chappelle has invested almost $300,000 on that one diamond with a turf field that I helped. I was one of the private guys outside of this, but on the council level, I helped navigate the agreement for them to be able to do the public-private partnership. But my daughter was on the team for 2 years. They won state title last year. They have the best softball field, I think, in the area right now for girls, and I wanted to do that for Chappelle. So the girls have a great field, and that was
Butch Dewey.
both a private Chappelle, their diocese, and Kenner wanting that to happen. And you elevate a diamond like that, you get private money coming in. The city does the lights and does the big stuff, and the city benefits from people coming there, from going to the businesses, eating at restaurants. We have teams come there from around the state for playoff games. And then Kenner, Chappelle also does a league to help, a clinic every year to help Kenner kids learn softball. So a lot of that it's like a different mix of stuff that we do these days.
That's good. It's good that it's up in everybody's minds to get it better, get it back to what it used to be, and stop kids going from Kenner to Girard or Mike Miley or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Stay in Kenner. I have 11-year-old, and we went through that whole thing, and hopefully we can join a Kenner team again.
I was going to say, how is that going? I mean, they still have rec leagues, they still have basketball, baseball.
It's kind of centrally located, though. Most of it is done at Russ Bertolino. They do have flag and do some baseball and softball out there. They announce it every year. I think they just put a post recently about that, but I'll have to check.
Right, because I played Highway Park growing up, basketball, baseball, you know. And, we played several parks, Green Lawn, Galatas, all the way down to Buddy Lawson. I haven't been to that park in forever. Is that still hopping?
Yeah, Buddy Lawson's still there. That's in South Kenner.
Yeah, it's like all the way on River Road.
Yeah, D. Dunn kind of manages that area, but they still have some activity out there. I think a soccer organization plays out of Buddy Lawson now.
Mm-hmm. Lincoln Manor even. Mm-hmm. Susan Park, I forget about all
We have a lot of parks. And we have, more parks per capita than Jefferson Parish does. So I get calls all the time from people wanting to use Galatas or trying to find a park because kids need places to practice. Yeah. And we do provide that. Galatas, we rent that out continuously for teams that they want to use a basketball practice. So,
my kid plays on a team that's based out of Kenner. It's a travel team, though.
What's it?
It's a travel team.
Yeah, look, that's just the way it is now. It's a different ball game.
Yeah, I think I remember growing up, it was like travel ball. What's that? We all played at a playground wherever you grew up. It
was all rec ball back then.
It's it's a different ball game now. So we got to morph it into different things. But look, we love kids playing out there. Kids need sports. I coach in the FNA league with Jeff Berg and coached his son for years.
He was your assistant, right?
I was his D coordinator.
Out of LaSalle.
So if I had a game where I couldn't be at and we're playing a team that was going to kill us 60-0.
That's when he left me in charge.
I need you to coach the team tonight.
We played Duke Radis's team, lose 44-0 under my watch.
No, the thing with the FNA league is you can play a game the first game, you'll beat someone bad. The second game, you have a close game. Oh, we're good. Third game, you get out there, you lose 60-0.
Oh, yeah.
Some of these teams are recruited.
As you know, I coached as well. We scrimmaged you guys a couple of times. It was. I appreciate you allowing us to practice with you all because you gave us some experience playing against some older kids. But yeah, my record as a FNA coach was not stellar by any means.
We I wanted my son to play with his friends, and that's what we did. If I had a parent call, hey, can my son play on your team? Yes.
Yep.
and I'd fill it out until about 11 or 12 kids, and that was it.
And even though the kids didn't win a whole lot, I think they appreciated that. They appreciated just going out there, having fun, playing with their own friends.
Oh yeah, they were the memories, man. And it was well organized. It was only on Friday nights, which is perfect. So we practiced like on Tuesday or Wednesday, then practice and then play on Friday. So we had a great time in that league. Jeff Berg did a great job.
Yeah, Jeff's a good dude.
He is. He's an attorney too. He's really cool.
Maybe he'll be a councilman one day too.
I don't know, man. Be careful what you wish for.
And while I mention council again, as far as your political career is concerned, are you stopping at councilman, or do you see higher aspirations? President of the United States one day.
You call my wife and ask Virginia that right now. And see
I know
what
she would
says.
flat out give you a no. So.
She we're the two yins and yin yang, and like she don't care about all the politics and all the the limelight and all that, which is healthy. I did it to help the city. Do I see myself in a higher office? I don't know. I know that we have elections next year. I'm going to do this spot again.
Okay.
I'm going to keep my seat, hopefully, and for the next 4 years. After that's over, Daniel will be almost a senior, so Carson, and at that point, I'm either going to decide to probably elevate somewhere else or stop. It depends on where I am in life, where my kids are.
Yeah.
I don't have.
Scalise can't go forever. Just saying.
What's that?
Steve Scalise can't go forever.
Steve Scalise, yeah.
House majority whip Joey LaHatte.
That is a huge position that a lot of politics is time and place. It really is. Like even if you really want to do it, some people are like I want to be in office. Well, I wasn't that guy. Like there's some guys like that, and they're usually not the effective ones. You want the guys that are there to try to do a good job. It is time and place. When I got in, the guy who was in my seat was retiring. Glenn Hayes, a great guy. He endorsed me, and it was an open spot. So, and then Krista gave me the idea, and I just kind of jumped with it, and it rolled.
Right on. So before we get too far into what's for your future, I want to go back to kind of like say maybe first days and current days and times.
I want a beer somewhere. I want another drink. I don't
we'll
have a
get
beer
you
anywhere.
You're welcome to drink on the podcast, of course. We're called the Wasted Wagons for a couple of reasons, but one of them is not really being sober. So we have libations.
Well, most of my interviews and things are not like this, so this is a welcome, respite from that stuff.
We try to keep it very low key and laid back because that's how we are. This is not a overly produced professional kind of outfit.
Look, and I'm just who I am. People just I'm not somebody else. I'm going to tell you I want to beer when I want a beer.
That's mandatory as well.
Yeah, and I'm a Mardi Gras nut. I was at the Mad Hatter's Parade, as I told you, and I helped run the Driftwood, ran in that one, and then I may be the crew of Toth Sunday. I may be playing in the LSU alumni band.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. The ragtag marching band. Awesome. I go to Toth every year. I have a couple of their koozies.
And I think I'm going to be there.
Okay.
It's not 100% yet, but I did it 3 years ago. It was a blast.
Nice.
And bring my trumpet and play the LSU fight song and everything else.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love the koozies I have, too. It says ragtag marching band on one side. The other side's got the number 9, and it's got a little goat silhouette in it. It's like, gee, what are we saying here? Number 9 with the goat,
Oh, yeah. I hear you.
So this obviously is my first time meeting you, and love the fact that you are a Mardi Gras guy because we have some somewhat not so Mardi Gras loving members of this podcast, and it breaks my heart sometimes that they're not really parade guys. But it's nice to have someone that shares the joy of Mardi Gras and all that it brings on the good side of things.
Well, Travis is riding on my Irish Italian float this year.
But might have to kick him off.
Yeah. It's taken 3 years to get him to do this because his wife said he's not going to ride. He'll never ride. I'm going to keep it. He's going to do it one year.
Oh, look, I'm in this year.
Well, look, like I said,
he said yes.
Travis, Sean, and I all rode in Centaurians, and it was a really great experience. I kind of missed it actually.
Yeah,
it really is fun. You see so many people
But see, I think riding is definitely different from going to the parades and partaking.
Being in the parade is a whole nother level. I mean, dancing around in a kilt on St. Patrick's Day, giving out flowers, and not so many kisses for the record.
Sure. I mean, outside of ROTC and marching when I was in high school and parades like that and doing Endymion, the best fun I've ever had from Mardi Gras was riding Irish Italian probably a decade ago. It was just an all-day thing. You get to, again, like you said, you get to throw cabbage and vegetables and stuff like that and drink a bunch of Irish beer and listen to a bunch of songs, and people go nuts for it. And it's always like it's for the kids as well too. So, but I'm glad that you do enjoy Mardi Gras, unlike some other people that I have to share this podcast with.
Just an overrated holiday.
Dude, I
get 6 days off of work.
Easy.
I like going to parades now. I used to dance with 610 in 5 or 6 parades a year.
Yeah.
So you dance for 6 or 7 miles 5 or 6 times within 2 weeks. At some point, your body's like, "What are you doing?" It was a blast. But now, actually, I go to St. Charles Avenue. We go to this little spot we go to every year called the Driveway, like this private party. The Bonowitz has put on a great family. But I like going to parades and watching now because I was in them for so long.
Yeah.
So I do a lot.
I actually passed tonight. I had an opportunity to walk the Clydesdales tonight in Druids. And what's kind of, work was one reason, but the main reason, but it was like, wait, where's security for the horses? What happens if somebody comes at you? They're like, well, you can figure it out, and then you can't drink on the route. It's just kind of walking like a robot next to the horses, and it's like...
People don't mess with the horse, dude.
Yeah.
Like my brother used to, when he worked at the sheriff's office in Orleans for years, he was one of the mounted horses on Bourbon Street. And the way they break up a fight on Bourbon or in a bar, they would just bring the horse up to a fight, and everybody stops fighting. Everybody's scared of the horse.
Yeah.
And just everybody looks. And they would stick their head inside of bars and pull people out that were fighting, and they'd see the horse, and they would be scared to death.
Right. I don't know what people would do to a Clydesdale. I guess they just want to go up and take a picture or a selfie or something. But, I mean, we saw them at the stables a couple weeks ago. Those things some of them are over 2,000 pounds. I wouldn't want to get stepped on.
Yeah, they're specimens.
They are huge, man. They're beautiful, though. Beautiful.
All right, Joey. So aside from the F&A field, we've crossed paths elsewhere. I noticed that you ran in the 10K at the Kenner Lakefront the other time. Are you an avid runner?
I ran 3 today. I ran 6 yesterday, and I ran 8 Monday. Does that answer your question?
That answers my question. So how many marathons or half marathons have you ran?
So I've only done 2 half marathons. I did I want to do that. I want to watch on my brain, but I did the Mardi Gras half marathon twice in my mid to late 20s. But I've always run with my dad when I was growing up, and I've been running since then. But I haven't gotten back into it hardcore since August of last year. And a good friend of mine coaches me and my friend BB Tran, Stephen Kernion, who does coaching, and he gives us a list every week, and we just do it. And there's no questions asked. You have to do it. If you miss it, you got to do it the next day. Mm-hmm. If you don't feel good, you fit it in at some point. So it's we're trying to gear up to do half marathons and marathons, and so I did the Lake Town race where I saw you. That was 10. I think I finished in 1:27, about a little sub 10-minute mile. So that was pretty good. That was pretty good for me.
I mean, you're talking to a guy that's only run 3 miles max, so I mean, it's impressive. Do you plan on running a marathon?
Yes, my dad's run the New York City Marathon 6 times.
Oh wow!
So,
Wow.
He ran it 2 years ago at age 73.
Wow.
That's impressive.
There's not many of them, It's but no, I want to do that marathon at some point, and I want to do the Disney Marathon, but it sells out every year, so I always miss the window to sign up for it. But it's no, I love running. It's just my thing.
Yeah.
Everybody has their thing. That's mine. It's a healthy thing, which is good.
And like you said, when you miss a day, you almost feel bad the next day. It really is a lifestyle.
You have to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, needless to say, I've probably run more than I've run in the last 5 years total. So,
Sean, don't feel bad. Hearing that his dad ran that marathon at 73 and how I keep putting off running like 5Ks at 42, I feel bad now. So
my 5Ks I've done the bubble run 3 times, and that's move a little bit, go play in the suds, and get all full of color, and then we still are in a race, and it's like maybe like 5 people that actually care about that it's a race, and they go flying through the foam, and
it keeps me moving. I'm back in the 170s again, weight wise, and I hadn't been that in a long time. So that's it's a good benefit.
I mean, I noticed that about you. I think the last time I saw you was when you coached F&A, and when I saw you at the race, I was like, man, Joey dropped some weight.
Yeah,
you look good, man.
You live in New Orleans, dude. I don't stop eating. If I would
run so you can eat.
If I could do a healthy diet more than 3 days a week, I would drop a lot more weight, but it's impossible in this town.
That's what I was going to say. You know, I run to the lunch line. 12 o'clock. Okay.
Mike, I feel you on that.
There's
Mike.
trade-offs in life. I'm not eating healthy 7 days. I'll eat healthy 3, but not New Orleans.
New
man.
restaurant at the lakefront. Hey,
I need my fried food and my po' boys and all that good stuff. And Mark King cake. Oh my God. Popeyes this year, time of year. Oh.
A brewery can serve food, Sean.
Yeah.
yeah.
Ooh, this is out there. What's your favorite Kenner restaurant?
Not named Jin
Not to
Deuces.
put you in a spot.
Not named Jinduces. I mean,
But can it be a chain?
Could be anything. What's your favorite?
I mean, so if you look at what I've been to the most 6 months, it's Ground Patty at this point.
Okay.
I'm a member at Chateau, so obviously
You must like those ground patty burgers.
I really do.
You must like good quality
They're
burgers, right?
delicious. Yeah, I love the ground patty. It's not that expensive either. They do
You
a really
have a
good
hater
job.
sitting right next to you. Just letting you know.
Another one sitting over here.
The hater.
They're
The potato skins.
Todd and I love ground patties.
Joey, they're a little dry for me, but
Yeah. Kenner Seafood is good. I like them. Actually, with all the Mexican restaurants you have in Williams, there's a new place called Pepe's, which is north of Kenner, closer to the casino, which is great. And the steak restaurant inside of the Treasure Chest
Yeah,
is awesome.
I've heard that was good.
Dude, go try that. They do a really, really good job. Like they've board gaming. We told them we wanted restaurants in that place, and they did it. So we have 3 restaurants in there.
Nice.
So go to the casino and try it if you haven't been yet, man. It's really nice. It'll blow you away.
How close is the amphitheater going to be to the treasure chest?
Or just over the levee wall.
Wow. Okay. Just yeah.
It's going to be right there, and we have the parking for it, and we've already have the design done, like with the backstage and everything for bands. The thing with building by the levee is you deal with the Army Corps of Engineers, which it's like you see that Sloth movie. And I'm not trying to piss off anybody at the Army Corps if they're watching this, but getting permits sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Then they stop you. Oh, we got to do this soil analysis. Like you could have told us that 3 months ago. So it's just if somebody's listening. Please speed it up. Just give us the permit to
Those
do
government engineers, just saying.
it. We know we're not going to hurt the levee. It's way away from the levee, so we just want to build this thing.
We're gonna get some nice '90s alternative rock bands coming to the
Dude, I
amphitheater.
want some Metallica out there, man.
Well, that'd be sweet. That Metallica Pantera tour would be nice over there. So, Joey, you'd mentioned that you want to run a marathon in Disney. So tickets sell out pretty quick, so you got to jump on it quick. We know that you're an avid Disney guy. Like you go there pretty frequently. Tell us, what is your favorite park, favorite ride, favorite hotel, favorite restaurant, everything about Disney?
Yeah, Virginia and I, we're pass holders. We bought DVC a long time ago, the Vacation Club. We just enjoy going. Everybody's friendly there. It's a different world is what it's designed to be, and we have fun. And
Yeah, absolutely.
my favorite park is probably Epcot.
Okay, I think most of the people at this age
No
right
brainer.
now would now agree with that.
Sapporo beer, right?
Well, they have the best ride in Disney now, which is Guardians of the
Absolutely.
Galaxy.
Oh yeah.
Totally
If you
agree.
haven't been on that ride yet, it'll blow your mind how awesome that ride is.
Patrick, have you been on it?
Not yet.
I'm not. Don't look at video. Don't YouTube it. Just go on the ride.
Yeah, surprise yourself.
Because I did that and I could not believe how crazy that ride was
awesome.
when I got off that ride.
Unique.
Restaurant, resort. I like we own at the Boardwalk, which is really nice.
Yeah.
We like that area. Old Key West is good. They have the biggest rooms. Restaurant wise, oh god, that's a tough one. Probably I like Brown Derby and Hollywood Studios.
Okay.
They have the best margarita and the best Cobb salad.
As-
You might be into
Yeah,
that.
did it have kale in it?
The health man over here.
But as many times as I've been to Disney World and I've always seen the Brown Derby, I've actually never eaten that.
Yeah, I don't think I have either.
It was great.
Okay.
They're known for their Cobb salad, so you'd be all over that too.
That sounds like a good appetizer. Is that
People get it for their meal.
Big enough for an entree?
It's huge. It's like this giant thing that's all bacon's all set up, and it's they do a good job.
Okay.
Travis is sold at margaritas and Cobb salad, so I mean,
Yeah, they do a good
Sounds
job.
like a plan for the next trip.
Yeah, but we're actually going next week after we take Carolina to view Miami University. So I'll be there a couple of days next week.
Okay. Well, look, it sounds like you're a man of many hats. We talked about LSU band, 6'10 Stompers. As far as you being an avid runner, tell us about any other hobbies that you haven't mentioned thus far. That's part of your
I'm a Star Trek nut.
Okay. I didn't know that about you as long as I've known you. I'm a big Spock fan myself.
People ask me, well, I'm the next generation. That's different.
Okay. I like Picard too. So.
People ask me, do you listen to podcasts when you run? It's like, no, I listen to Star Trek Next Generation episodes.
Wow.
My favorite ones. With Picard versus the Borg.
Is that what you listen to when you run marathons?
When you run, you got to zone out. You got to get your brain somewhere else, or you don't want to do it anymore. So sometimes music, but most of the times for me, it's like listening to things, and Star Trek's one of them. I watched every Next Generation episode in the 90s, Picard and Riker and all them, when they battled the Borg and everything. And the recent Picard series, I was just glued to the TV for. Every night I was trying to finish the things. It was so amazing. But the hobbies, I like golf carts. I have 2 golf carts that I ride around. I passed a golf cart ordinance in Kenner.
Yeah, it makes sense in your neighborhood. Like the Driftwood is kind of locked in between West Esplanade and Power. To the point where it's closed in. I think golf carts make a lot of sense in that neighborhood.
We got a golf cart too, and when I saw that, I was like, yes.
So we actually have the stickers now.
High five.
High five.
You get the permit, $75 a year. You get the permit, the sticker to put on it, so it's fully legal in Kenner.
That's awesome.
And you can drive it, pretty much anywhere except the interstate.
Thank you, sir.
And everybody, it's something that I did that no one knew they liked until I did it.
Oh yeah.
And everyone's like, why are you doing this? And after I did it, they're like, dude, that's really awesome. I want to get a golf cart. I hear that all the time.
And I know Joey has crossed West Esplanade from the Driftwood subdivision to go eat at El Paso. So.
I have. I've driven it over there, and it's legal.
Yeah.
You can drive
Thanks to you.
35. Yeah, that's what I did. So it's a novelty thing I did, but a lot of affluent communities on the coast have golf carts.
Yeah.
Some cities have them.
It seems like a pandemic in North Bridgedale. I know that's Metairie, but it seems like I couldn't move into that neighborhood because I'd have to own a golf cart.
Oh yeah.
To go to and from school, to and from the St. Edward Fair and all that.
It's
like
the cheapest
golf
family fun ever.
It's like we keep joking saying we're gonna have to open golf cart parking because 10 people show up with golf carts.
Look, you can take your kids and family on a golf cart ride, and it's cheap.
And when I say golf carts,
like,
I'm talking like 3-4 seaters, like fitting 8 people in these things.
I have a
like,
6-seater. I have the neon lights and everything, music and everything. And my kids love going on rides. So
I was going to ask, is your golf cart kind of tricked out in any way? Do you have lights like that on it? Okay.
I have neon lights underneath. And it's one way I connect with my constituents. I ride around in that golf cart and people talk to you. They don't do it in cars. If you're in a golf cart, you drive up to somebody's house. Hey, Councilman, how you been? Then you get the latest complaint. Oh, I got this drain right here. It's getting clogged up, so, which is fine. We'll help them if that's the case. But no, I like riding around the district, checking on everything. Actually, the snowstorm.
There you go. Yeah.
Golf cart had the dirt wheels, dude. I got around everywhere in that snowstorm. Couldn't do it in my car. Like that thing went everywhere. Just it's gone.
Yeah. Well, that was a good segue because let's call this a viewer or listener question. Mm-hmm. And I may have hinted at where this location is, but it's in District 2. And it's a neighbor from, let's call it my childhood home, okay? Mm-hmm. And the resident down, I think 2 or 3 houses down, got a permit to build a garage and got to permit everything, separate structure, all that kind of stuff. But then it's been noticed that now people live inside, like a bathroom was built, and it's basically, in so many words, an apartment. And District 2 is zoned as a single dwelling area.
Yeah.
So it's like, what does one do about that, or
So, code enforcement needs to cite them, and we have this a lot where you build these garages, and then it looks like a garage. So the permitters come in, the code enforcement comes in and gives the permit. Okay, good to go. Then some of these people convert it to an apartment after the code enforcement people leave, and then you find this out later. Then you have 3 more cars on the lawn, and it's
right.
it's hideous. It makes a neighborhood terrible. You have to, that's District 2. That's Ronnie Schwartz District, but you can also call code yourself and report it. You can actually go to a system called QSIN and report a violation that there's people living in a garage on a separate property, and it's causing a problem with the infrastructure and the flow of the traffic in the neighborhood.
Right. Is it true that that the onlookers can be sued for like invasion of privacy and stuff like that? Okay, because people seem to come up with all kinds of things to basically say mind your own business, but it's like
the amount of people that call me and say, I don't want anybody telling me that I called. I said, dude, if they're breaking the law,
Yeah, the rules are rules.
it doesn't matter who called.
Right.
Quit breaking the law, asshole.
I'm like, I said, I'll be the one. You want me to be the, I'm like, so I'll call the code lady. Catherine Topple does a great job. So, all right, send an inspector, and they'll go look and see if they can notice something like that. I would take pictures if you see people living in there. If you have any pictures of that, that would help the cause. But there'll be a formal hearing. And if they're determined to be having someone living in a garage on a separate part of the premises, then yeah, there'll be an attorney who issues a violation, and you got to comply, and they got to get out, or they can be called back again and there can be fines that add up. I mean, it can be a contempt thing down the road. So Kenner code years ago, before I got in, was not operating correctly, but it is now. So, but sometimes we don't know.
Right.
If you don't report it, we don't know what's going on. So, just it is what it is,
Yeah. Well, good to know. Yeah.
So call code or I can route it to Ronnie Schwartz, or email me or text me the address. Then I can help you report it, get it done.
Right. Good deal. Thanks.
Okay, Joey, we're getting down to the end, into the least serious stuff. I have one more serious question for you, and then we're going to get to some of the more silly stuff and kind of pick your brain on a few topics and questions that Mike loves to get to every guest in. What would you say is the hardest part of your job in terms of like trying to get things done, or red tape to go through, or waiting for other divisions or businesses that you're working with, or things like entities to hopefully take a project or an idea you have to move forward and actually get it done? Just in general, like maybe, or if you want to be more specific, what do you feel like is the hardest or the most difficult part, or the most challenging thing you face in like your day-to-day?
Well, sometimes, number one is funding. So I have some funding I use in my district that comes a lot from the Treasure Chest Casino revenue that I can use for anything. Infrastructure projects. I help renovate the lighthouse of the police. I'm doing many street corners right now in my district that are blown up and falling apart. One example of that is Williams Boulevard is a state highway. Kenner has no control over the state highway, even though it's in the middle of Kenner. So one day, state shows up and tears down all the oak trees in the middle of the median. Just tears them down. So guess what the people are calling upset? Me. Right. Why y'all tearing all the trees down? I was like, it's not us, it's the state. And they didn't even tell us they were doing it, because they say that the oak trees tear up the ground and they want to get rid of them. They're going to replace them with palm trees or something else, which is accurate. That does happen. But I can't do anything to Williams Boulevard without going through 8 steps with the state to get something done, to put a new light in or put a new turn. Wow. So those kind of procedural hiccups are a problem. But city-owned stuff, we have a great government right now. So when I have an issue, I'll call the respective department. We have a great street director, Christine Calamari, and we're doing a lot right now, getting streets repaired and redone. The code lady's great. Look, anything to do with police, it's like rapid fire. Any kind of crime element, or if we think someone's selling drugs somewhere, the Kenner police will be on that. So it's not, I don't think Kenner is as slow procedurally in things like maybe other areas can be with issues, because we're a smaller jurisdiction. Our budget's like $120 million, like Orleans is millions. It's just a different animal.
Do you see a big growth like in Kenner within the next 10 years or so?
So we need to get our young to come back for that to happen. The population in Kenner is it's not really lessening. It's not exceedingly growing. It's kind of just stagnant right now. It grows a little bit, but we want to keep the people. We don't want them to go into Texas, and that's can be a statewide factor. We want the talent and brain power to come back here. It's still a great place to live. I like living there. We have a lot of good people that live in the city, and I'm doing this to get my kids to come back to move to Kenner one day with their families. Caroline, Charlotte, and Daniel. I want them to live here and be a part of our traditions, Mardi Gras every year, Saints games like we always love to go to. I don't want them ending up in Houston, but right. No offense to Houston, but I want them to come back here. So,
or just Metairie. I was going to say, my parents, where I grew up, still live in Kenner, my childhood home, but I live in Metairie now. So,
Well, I grew up on Pike Drive, which is a couple of blocks into Metairie.
There you go.
I grew up in Metairie, but I was in Kenner all the time. So
we know a guy that grew up on Pike.
We do, yeah.
Well, screw the Astros. Nobody wants to go there.
Long live Astro World, huh?
But one thing we do with every episode is we have a separate segment called In No Particular Order, where we pick a specific topic and we name our top 5 for that specific topic. So for you, you're an LSU grad, you were in the Tiger Band. So we're going to get you to name your top 5 favorite LSU football players of all time.
Oh, God. Marcus Spears is number 1.
Okay.
Nice.
Interesting.
Tight end, in defensive end, caught that interception in the Oklahoma game in 03. He don't catch that, we won't. I don't think it'd be tied. We'd be going into overtime. He was a beast of a guy. Watching him play on that field, I just loved every second of watching him on defense when he played tight end.
That's a unique pick. Like, as far as being a number 1, we're going to let you finish your top 5 before I mention any of the names. But he's not really one that I would have normally thought would be somebody's number 1. But I think that's an excellent pick.
I liked him. I like watching Chad Lavallee. Maybe I like watching defensive guys because Lavallee was a beast too. He's on the defensive line, and he had some massive tackles, man. That brought the LSU that title game that year. The loudest moment I ever heard in Tiger Stadium was when Matt Mock threw that touchdown to Skylar Green in the Georgia game in 03.
Okay.
We won 17-10 and was tied in the fourth quarter. We don't win that game. We don't go to Atlanta. We don't win the title. And we hadn't beaten Georgia, I think, in like 30 years. And he rolled out to the left, threw that ball to Skylar Green, and the whole place, exploded because we knew at that point we were going to win. Right. And it was just another level. Loud. So Matt Mock is kind of underrated, but he was kind of a field general.
He's a dentist now.
Yeah. He gave up football to pursue dental.
He would make the throws, dude. And if you want to know probably the most fierce LSU game I ever saw was the Eli Manning fell down game. Remember, he fell down the fourth down. He backed up and he fell back on his butt.
Yeah.
That game that was in Ole Miss, and I was there with the band, and it was just amazing how hard these teams were hitting each other because LSU had to win to keep going to have a national title consideration. Eli, they had to win because it was their one shot to be in prominence and to be noteworthy. They had the best quarterback, since his dad was there. And every play you could hear from the field just them hitting each other. It was crunch, crunch, crunch. They could barely move the ball because all they did was just smack each other every play. Matt Mock had like a 20-yard pass at the end. We won 17-14, but Ole Miss, they were driving, and it was fourth down, and then Eli got the ball backed up and fell. The game was over.
Nice.
We went freaking crazy, man. But no, Marcus Spears, Devery Henderson's another one.
So is Matt Mock in there?
Yeah, I was going to say, is Matt Mock number 2 or 3?
Yeah, can you? So we typically do it like in 5 up to 1. You can also have an honorable mention or 2. If it's a guy you want to recognize, but he
that was definitely in no particular order. Saying number 1 right out the gate.
No particular order here.
So I think let me kind of go through the list. Marcus Spears would be 1. Rohan Davies 2.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, you mentioned him earlier.
Rohan is, I think, the reason LSU accelerated where they are. Without him, the Saban's first year kind of was a dud. We lost to UAB that year at that game. Josh Booty threw about 100 interceptions, until they put Rohan Davey in. I think Davey's probably 2. I love watching Devery. He's probably 3 football players. Those are the main guys that stick out to me. I love Mock. I probably put him as 4 because he really was the field general that year for the 03 team. 5 would be a toss-up. A lot of players, man. Maybe Michael Clayton.
Well, you mentioned Lavallee earlier.
Lavallee might be 5. He was really fun to watch.
But, it's okay. It's okay to have some honorable mentions, Joey. Patrick doesn't like you to name like 4 or 5, but if you have 2, it's all right.
Oh, man, it was...
Go ahead.
No, Todd just really wants you to say Ben McDonald just cause.
I was going to actually ask him when Ben McDonald was when he was over naming the football players if he had like a baseball list, would Ben McDonald be on it? And do you think he's the best commentator around right now?
Oh my God!
I don't know. I liked a basketball guy, Stromile Swift.
Oh yeah.
I love
Stromile. Yeah.
Dude, 2000, we played Arizona in the PMAC, and we beat them. And that place was exploding because we never had a basketball team that good.
He had a nice little Grizzlies career.
I think he was picked 4th overall, if I wasn't mistaken.
Dude, he could
Somewhere, yeah.
he could dunk the ball. That team was just so much fun to watch.
And he
man.
wore the headband, kind of like Cliff Robinson style,
Yeah, he. So he's my basketball guy. I mean, baseball. It's like a Brad Cressy.
You can't go wrong with that.
Fantastic guy. And look, the guy I went to Jesuit with who died,
Oh,
Wally
yeah,
Pontiff. He was 99 Jesuit with me.
Oh, wow.
And I remember watching him at Jesuit, and he hit a home run, I think, in the SEC tournament at LSU. Then he freaking died the next year of a random heart condition the night he was sleeping. And it was just
It's a crazy story.
awful. He was a really nice dude.
Absolutely, yeah, it was.
I knew him a little bit at Jesuit. I was the band guy, but he was always real nice to everybody. That whole family was amazing, and it was a travesty. But yeah, they renamed the park after him.
Yeah.
Wally Pontiff Playground. But I just sometimes I forget about him. I don't know why, but it's just no. He was. I think he's one of my top baseball guys. He was a good dude, man.
So Ben doesn't make Joe Weasley.
No, probably not.
So
no,
sad.
Ben McDonald.
But
Sorry,
is
Todd.
Probably not.
But is he one of the best commentators around? I mean, if you watch you can watch the Orioles game or an SEC game, and he's
Yeah.
commentating. He's breaking down baseball just so well.
Todd, this is for the guests, not you.
I don't know. I can't give you a Ben McDonald opinion.
Thank you. Please do.
We do have an episode of Love Letter to Ben McDonald. Just
Yeah.
you can take a wild guess what it's about.
It's about a 5-minute soliloquy of Todd going off on why he likes Ben McDonald so much.
So Joey, we like to ask these silly questions to everybody that we've interviewed. Just tell me what you think. We're gonna go one by one,
And you have to pick one or the other.
Yes.
And if you can give us an explanation why, and then if you want to know the reason why we ask these questions, Mike will be glad to tell you.
We started asking him a long time ago.
It all started with between a fight with he and his wife.
Yeah.
That's how this all started,
Pretty
and then
much.
it just kind of
A lot of things start
Snowball.
from that. We all been through that.
2 years later, we're talking about crab hammers and all kinds
And
of
Mike's still
That's
blaming
just-
that on
that's just
Mike. Could be another
Is that one of
argument.
those fishing lures right here? Like this is a pin or is it a fishing lure? What is this?
I hope it's a pin.
It's a
makeup?
I think it's a mermaid
So your
pin.
daughter in here, like my daughter has stuff like this too. So
Mike definitely stole that crab mallet.
Well,
Anyway.
Patrick's going to go find the evidence in a while.
So, Joey, what do you think? Chips and salsa or pumpkin spice? I know that's kind of
You think I'm-
weird.
Not related, but
you think I'm
Not
like
related.
You
Would you
think I'm
like the
a
backstory?
white girl wearing plaid, dude? You think I like pumpkin spice?
Yes.
You have my wife's here. Her and all her friends, going to Starbucks on August 1st because it's fall. It's time for pumpkin spice. Chips and salsa, man.
All right, chips. All right.
So if you guys,
The first week hits the ground up. Lattes.
August 1st, Virginia's at Starbucks in line. Like, where's my pumpkin spice?
If you had
It's
to,
110 degrees outside.
but Joey, if you had to guess who in Mike's marriage preferred pumpkin spice over chips and salsa, who would you say?
Trick question.
Mike.
I'm a pumpkin spice kind of guy, but hey, to each his own.
There's so many TikTok memes.
Do we need to elaborate?
The white girls are excited now. They get the pumpkin spice in the fall,
I'm
Do we need
seeing
to
it with you.
elaborate
They
on
got
our?
They'll wear those
our-
like those.
Ugg boots and
the
flannels.
I might be a secret white girl somewhere deep down.
it's funny, man.
I'm free to admit that I'm a chips and salsa guy, but I did dress up as a basic for Halloween one year, and I did drive to Starbucks and buy a pumpkin spice latte for my costume. And this theme photos do exist.
I would love to see that.
and you
I
drank
can
it, and you
make that
probably
happen.
enjoyed it.
I mean, it wasn't. It wasn't terrible, but I don't need to rehash why I choose chips and salsa over pumpkin spice. You know the answer. You know
Because it's
why.
served 365.
Thank you. And it doesn't matter. Joey agrees that chips and salsa is a winner. Move on. Next.
Sorry.
Well,
All right,
we had some asterisks. We were saying, chips and bean dip, chips and queso. Yes, but just
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, Casa Garcia, you get bean dip.
yeah.
Sometimes that's an added plus.
So the next one, pizza rolls or bagel bites?
So when I was at LSU, we'd go out on Thursday nights, and we'd go somewhere, catering before it burned down, or just off campus. We get back at 2:30 in the morning, and me and my 3 roommates would bake 250 pizza rolls. And we'd eat all of them at 3 and 4 in the morning, which is Friday morning at that point. And
But you put them in at 1 or 2 because they have to cool
yes.
off.
And we basically skip class all day Friday, wake up at 2 in the afternoon the
With
next
mouth
Friday.
injuries?
Dude, we would eat so many pizza rolls. Dude, I have 3 bags of pizza rolls in my fridge right now, in my freezer. My kids love it. I'm a pizza rolls guy, and I will eat that. You put 10 of them right now, I'm going to eat them all in like 5 minutes.
See, these guys are all concerned about their tongue.
25 minutes
and
later,
everything
yeah.
else. Like, no, man.
Well, with a bagel bite,
Totino's.
you get-
Totino's.
When Joey would wake up at 2 p.m., he would have mouth sores from the burns from his pizza rolls.
Yeah, you're right. We would.
But you know
We
what?
would gobble them down.
But it was worth it.
It was me, Peter.
How long does a bagel bite take to make in the oven?
I mean, a
3
bagel-
minutes. I'm a bagel bite household. Me and my-
175 for a pizza roll.
Get
You
this,
get
my
pizza.
10-year-old will not eat pepperoni on pizza, but she'll eat the little cube pepperonis on the bagel bites and even eat raw pepperonis out of a bag. Go figure, you know.
Bagel bites for the win.
No,
Get a bagel and a pizza, the best of both worlds, you know?
just like Dax, Joey said, chips and salsa and pizza rolls 2 for 2.
All right, this last one's a huge one for me. There's 2 teams here, and depending on how you answer this, you know, if I ever move to District 3,
Oh, God.
I might be voting for you or not.
Oh, jeez.
Oh man,
This one's that important?
that's usually how elections work, Mike.
I would think the first question would be the most
No.
important. This is kind of
I'm a diehard with one of these:
Yeah.
Coke or Pepsi.
Oh, my God. So
Answer right.
It's a
I'm not
Or you
really.
miss out on Mike's one vote.
So my answer is coconut LaCroix. Does that answer your question?
Hey, nice.
I don't drink Coke.
Oh,
My
okay.
son drinks Coke. I've never been a soft drink guy. I drink mountains of LaCroix, limoncellos, coconut in my office. I have 6 cases of them right now. That is the only carbonated beverage I really drink.
So no cola.
I don't drink cola, dude. I can't really answer that. Like I haven't.
Well, it's funny. Our last interview was with UNO's head baseball coach Dax Norris, and he basically said the same thing. He was drinking out of a Coke cup, so Mike was instantly fooled to think he was going to choose Coke. And he says, "I don't really drink Coke or Pepsi. I drink Mountain Dew." So,
Hey, yeah. I like Mountain Dew.
So that's the second interview in a row that
No,
we've
but-
done where colas weren't.
I like his answer though. He's neither. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's okay.
I'm
He's okay
I'm
on my
really
vote.
neither.
All I
Yeah.
know is if Mike comes to my house and asks for Coke and he gets served the Pepsi, you know, you're sheer out of luck, man.
Do you have a favorite king cake brand or style? Do you prefer like the icing versus the?
So that's a loaded question. So I have 3. The best traditional king cake I like is Hadel's because it's the best, the one that looks like we all know
Cinnamon roll?
cinnamon roll type. And I like them filled, but my wife hates them filled, so we argue about that every year.
That sounds like a pumpkin spice chips and salsa debate right there.
My second one
Add it
is
to the list, Mike.
Sucre.
No,
Oh, that's my favorite.
That's Todd's jam.
Dude, I love Sucre king cakes. I could eat the whole thing. It's the prettiest. It's in that little box with the little
They're like pearly,
sparkles
yeah.
on top.
It's like a croissant with glitter, and it's amazing.
I can eat the whole thing myself. And then I love Don Fongs, but everybody likes Don Fongs. So, but they're hard to get unless you know Joseph Sapardo. You can get them to put them in the back and hide them for you.
Or wait in line at Fonola for like an hour, like in the morning,
Yes.
and then they sell out in 20 minutes. You know.
It's the
King
ice.
cake
The bread at Don Fongs is, I think, it's the icing. Like no, I think it's the bread. The
Oh
bread
yeah,
is
they're a
unbelievable.
bakery. They started with the bread
God, it's
first.
so good. So those are my 3, and I'll eat any 3 of those.
Have you tried the Joe's fried king cake?
I've tried Joe's. I like Joe's Cafe.
Pretty good.
Carmelites. What is the other one I've tried?
Kalutas?
Kalutas.
Not a fan of Kalutas. I don't want to start fights, but you know. And I don't really eat Randazzos, and people just
Well,
line up.
Kalutas is actually related to Randazzo, so you know.
I'm not in that. I'm not a fan of those. I don't know why, but those are my 3. I prefer Hadel's. It's the more traditional for my regular king cake, and then those 2 other ones for the specials.
They're all respectable.
Sucre is God.
Another question: do you have a favorite restaurant or business that is no longer around that you miss?
Oh God, Sal and Sam's on Veterans.
Oh yeah.
Remember that place? This is a long time ago. We're talking 90s because we go there all the time. They do the steak Dan at your table. The Caesar salads at the table. Dude,
Luis used to work there, right?
I love that
I
place.
believe so. Yeah.
It was like Political Central too. You see like Buddy Diliberto in there all the time at the bar, talking sports with somebody. I miss that place. That was a really cool place to be on Veterans. That's no longer there. Sal and Sam's, man.
Okay. What is your two-part question? One, what is your beer of choice if you had to pick one?
I think I know this one.
And two, are you a beer, a cocktail, or wine kind of person? If you had to pick which one, like for a night, let's say you get reelected and you're having a celebration, a little party at the house, everything's over with, and you're at your home by yourself and you're just trying to unwind. What are you pouring at the end of the night for yourself?
Probably wine. I like Silver Oak wine.
Yes.
Which is really good. Beer of choice, national brands I like Mango Cart.
That was going to be my choice.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love Mango Cart. I love Abita too. Like I love Abita Amber is my regular, just whatever beer. If I'm at a bar that has 2 taps and they have Amber, Mr. Reds has that. Like I'll just get that when I go. And then liquor, I'm more of a tequila guy, to be honest with you. If I'm somewhere, an active party, I like a margarita.
Yeah. The brown derby ones. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of me. But I do like wine. I've always wanted to go tour the California wine country, but I've never had a chance to go. But Virginia and I want to go at some point.
Whenever you decide to go, let me know. I know a guy that's in the industry that could probably get you set up with a spot there.
That sounds good. You work for a Republic?
Yes.
Cool. Nice.
We had a company, an important company email get dispersed today that kind of changes the future of our company a little bit. But yeah, I'm with Republic.
Oh, cool.
When are we going to Napa?
When do you want to go to Napa? Well, Russell is planning this. We have another guy that's on the pod. He couldn't be making it tonight because it's his birthday. Mm-hmm. But he's like, hey, I'm going to France next year. And he turns to me and he goes, Patrick, you're in charge of planning all the wine tasting in France for me. And I'm like, well, I've never been. He's like, but you know French wine. I'm like, that's not the point. I can lead you to the French aisle.
The
streets
streets are named by types of wine,
yeah,
right?
I can bring you to the aisle at the store.
Bring me to Merlot Avenue.
Champagne, France, and get champagne.
Wine is very easy to old world wine is easy to understand. It's a whole nother thing. But let's not get sidetracked by that. But whenever you're ready to go to Napa, seriously, let me know. We have a guy in the industry that can.
I've been on the list for Virginia and I a
of.
very long time since I've known her. So I think we need to go.
Well, Joey, we're getting to the close of this interview here. Is there anything else you would like to say before we close out?
Man, I don't know. I appreciate y'all having me on here. I look forward to watching this after to see how I look on this feed. If I'm usually better looking on a billboard or a picture.
That's nonsense. Nobody's better looking than on the Wasted Wagon podcast.
One thing about LSU is, I was there. My freshman year was Jerry DiNardo's last year. We were terrible, and then we went to band camp in 2000. And Mark Emmert, the chancellor at the time, was later the NCAA president. Okay. Walks in and says, "Oh, we saw football. We got the right coach coming. He's from Michigan. His name is Nick Saban." We're like, "Who the hell is Nick Saban? Who's that guy?"
Yeah.
But he walks in to our band practice at the IFF facility in Baton Rouge, shook every one of our hands, 350 kids in the dance team and everything. Says, "My wife was a drum major in high school, Terry. We love the band. I'm never taking the team out unless y'all are out there." And he was serious about that. And he came and met us and just gave us speeches. I'm from Michigan State. I'm really looking to, I think we do a great job here. Like, who was this guy before he came in? And then the rest is history, the football team and what he did. And if we would have held on to him and Kirk Herbstreit wouldn't have broken the Les Miles story, would have dumped him and gotten Saban back in 2005. So, it's like... But that's a good story. That's how I met Saban, and he was a really great guy off the field. On the field, he's a a nightmare to deal with, obviously. But
Yeah, arguably became the best college football coach of all time. So
yeah, good dude.
Well, is there anything on the way out that you want to promote or let anyone know about the city of Kenner? Any like big events or things that they should know about going forward?
Yeah, we have the ISIS parade Saturday. The girls are going to be, riding ISIS. It goes all the way down Loyola Avenue to Vintage to the Lake Town area, which is a fantastic time. Kenner's doing well. We're healthy. The police department has 50 more officers at this point since we got aboard. The city I think is doing a good job with everything. We got the amphitheater coming to my district. We got the new casino. Please come out and look at the Treasure Chest Casino. It's brand new. It's like a brand new facility with restaurants, and you can drive up and walk in. You don't have to take a tram anymore or the boat, which is causing problems with people going. So, coffee shop in there too to come try it out, and look forward to seeing you on the city of Kenner.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure, and man, it's always an honor to have you on, and appreciate you to come in especially on short notice and saying no questions asked and just being here. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, this is fun, man.
Yeah, we really appreciate you squeezing us into your busy schedule. I mean, we know how busy you councilmen can get.
Well, at night I'm driving my kids to 8 different places, so you can tell I'll tell my
right
wife.
There with you.
She's like, "Where are you going?" I said, "Travis's podcast." She goes, "Oh, okay." She loves Travis, so she's like, "Oh yeah, that's okay."
Well, I appreciate that. We love Virginia too.
With wives, okay.
Thanks, Travis. You got his foot in the door for us. with the wife.
And look, the door is open for the future, Joey. If you want to do a part 2 and you had some more things that you want to say, you're always welcome back with us.
Hey, we got an election in a year, so maybe we'll come on at that time and talk about everything going on.
That's when you announce your bigger plans for a higher office.
Election party podcast.
We'll get people to go vote. Get your butt out and go vote.
Sounds like a plan.
Yep. Maybe some of our younger listeners can take heed and go vote for you.
And I'll tell you how Travis is on the float for Mardi Gras for Irish Italian.
We'll
Definitely
be
for part
watching.
2.
We'll be watching.
But he'll have the full length.
That's right. What kind of beer you gonna be drinking, Travis?
Probably some PBR. If I'm.
His son's been on my float for 3 years now. He hasn't been on there.
Shame
Boys,
on
I
you.
told you we're coming this
Tommy
year.
stepped up, man.
We're coming this year. Now on an event like Mardi Gras, I'm going to probably buy a decent tasting beer that's a cheap 12er case, and that'll be my good old trusty PBR.
You're going to love it. You're going to want to do it again. Everybody tells me that.
It's a float or a truck?
It's a 40-person float. It's like
Okay.
a Houdat float with a big picture of a model of the Super Bowl trophy.
Joey says once you throw vegetables, you never go back. So
People love the vegetables, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, once you hit a blue hair in the head with a cabbage, I mean.
and on that note,
Allegedly. Yeah, on that alleged bombshell, wagons out.
wagons out.
Wagons
Wagons out.